the call. Yes. So you have called. So where shall we go? We may not lead you without your interest, without your willingness, without your endeavors. Quests are initiated by your questions, and so we wait.
We would like to ask questions about past lives. Is this all right?
Yes, yes, this we stepped through the shepherd pastoral image. We are aware.
Thank you.
We haven't. I certainly have had an understanding that time only exists here in our three-dimensional environment, and that time really doesn't exist, and that everything is happening now. Is this correct?
This is correct and not correct depending on your perspective.
Exactly.
Okay, so perspectives, spectoral, the spectacles which you place on your nose as humans. You know how to change the frames? No?
Yeah, understood.
So therefore, you may change your perspectives based on your frame of reference.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, so that you may play, and we encourage you to play, for this is the space of trust and faith and safety with which children encounter wonder. And you, dear ones, are on the edge of wondrous, wondrous occasions. The frame with which you present yourself to this unfolding matters.
Mm. I have a question regarding, again, it's related to time. In our experience, we understand that we, via meditation or connection with hypnosis, we can uncover what we term past lives. Now, given the understanding that there is no past and everything is happening now, how are we connecting to another life? Is it that our, yeah,
Go
can you
ahead,
explain
Carl.
that?
Go ahead. This we are anticipating because we already know. You call this anticipation. The vision, the quest here, the underlying point of view rests with vision. The vision to envision, to have the presence. This is something which you as humans, and you are human, you must recognize, recognate. You must come back to your positions as humans. We know that is not always a happy place. Nonetheless, you must enfold your humanity into your vision. Therefore, the place through which you connect to your past, your future, your ancestors, you're simply your past envisioned in human form, the people, the encounters, these are all accessed through presence, prescience, your sentience. Your sentience is your gateway. Now, what has happened over time is that there has been, you call this bifurcation, this severing of your head from your bodies, this guillotined consciousness that you, many of you, seem to feel is in your head, is in your heart. Pulse, pulse. These pulsations bring you into presence. And through that presence, as you sit, walk, swim, stand, paint, eat, shit, and we will say that, shit. These processes through which matter, you move through your matter, what matters to you. As you move through this consciously, you access all. It is simply a matter of that point. Where do you choose to go? Go. Does this make sense?
It does, but I'm still trying to rationalize it. So I can connect. So I can connect from here. I can connect with another human in another time and space.
Yes.
And what's the relationship between me and the connections that I make?
You are
one.
we
connected in? We are one in the same soul group, or is that relevant?
A soul group is a form that is that is a how you say, an image, a means of formulating. It creates a boundary, a soul group. So this is a way for you to focus.
Mm-hmm.
Objects or thoughts, ideas are a means to focus your energies. This is a transitional, a very valid way to channel your energies. This is what connects. This is what's happening here.
Mm-hmm. So Penny gave an example before we started this communication of an experience that she has,
yes,
of connecting with, she terms it to be a previous life. Mm-hmm. Do we understand that this is not her life? She's just connected to that life. She has a connection with it. Or is it her life in some way?
In this her, his, mine, these are provisional words that you have chosen to use. This is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. This enables moving parts to be distinguished. However, the, shall we say, ultimate point, the ultimate
truth, understanding,
yes, is that there is no need for possessives.
Okay, so it's not Penny's life. Penny has a connection with this experience, and they are coexisting entities with an energetic relationship. Penny has somehow opened, yes, and she calls them memories. I mean, that's how we describe what we experience in our minds as memories. If we think they're our experiences and they happened before we were born, then we think it's a past life, but it's not a past life. It's a parallel existence that
Yes.
Penny has a collaboration with.
Yes. We, Dave, and this one, we touched upon this at one point with parallel, the two parallel. These are all parallels. These are all, it's a matter of jumping a circuit. You have a battery. It
Yeah,
is
it's a
simply,
connection. It's making a connection.
yes.
So rather than say my past life, it's like a collaboration because we're sharing an
That's it.
experience.
Beautifully done. LL, collab,
Yeah.
collab. There, you found it.
So Penny has a collaboration with another spirit, or is it her spirit?
It is all.
Yeah, we're all the same spirit.
This is a tremendous teaching, if you will. Yet, for all of us, the beauty comes from the engagement with all manner of form.
So, would Penny's experience of remembering the past lifetime, is that specifically Penny's energy in that lifetime? Or is it a greater energy beyond just Penny?
There are parallel forms with which to answer this question. There are simultaneous realities operating all at one time. For Penny, in this life, in her incarnation now, she is free to articulate, to encounter her past lives, her collaborations with energy in whatever form she chooses. This is not our mandate, nor is it anyone's mandate. This is what you're discovering now on Earth. The other point of view, one of many, is that this is all what she has seen is consciousness encountering more variations of itself.
Aha. So, the difficult thing for human beings is to accept extraordinarily unpleasant things that occur to us on Earth or others. That is, terrible things happen. And as humans, we have to rationalize how we can live in a spiritual world where such horrible things happen. I speak particularly of one person, and it would be helpful if we addressed this just as one person, because a friend of mine has passed in a terrible way and terrible events happened. It is difficult for me personally to see the value of such experiences. Can you speak to this?
The value, this is suffering and pain, and we are quick to acknowledge and to absorb these levels. These are part of what we understand to be the whole of existence, the breadth of existence. There are paths which are undergone through consciousness that belong uniquely to that facet of consciousness. This is a facet. This is a light which cannot always be discerned.
I see. Perhaps it will comfort me to know, perhaps if there is a message from this person, from the other side, and
We
what
feel
message would be
this.
useful.
Namaste.
No.
The beauty with which this person transferred onto your world plane, the namaste which you mentioned, the breathes. There.
Yes, I can see her.
Heart. Talk to her.
Yeah, well, she says, that's what I signed up for.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what I signed up for. Extremes, extreme beauty and pleasure, and not. That's what I signed up for. That's what
That
she's telling
is her facet.
me. Yes.
Beautiful. We feel the connection.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the double N? Connect, collab.
Yeah.
Step in. Step in.
Yeah. Ah. She says even the most beautiful rose has thorns.
True.
And
Blood.
like, wasn't finished. She's like, I'm not finished. I didn't finish growing. There was more to do. A lot to do in this lifetime.
She will be back, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Let it rain.
Mm-hmm.
Let it rain. Yes. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, thanks. I've been holding that in for a week.
Oh,
It was lovely that you got to connect,
Yeah.
and will again.
Yeah. I think she was really quite significant in my life. I didn't realize.
Was and
And
is.
yeah, yeah. She's also said there was nothing I could do.
There is no failure.
Can I ask, was this an accident, or was this
intentional? She took
int-
her. She took her.
but she took her own life.
Yes.
So can I ask a question? My understanding again was that we choose how we come into this world and we choose how we exit.
Yes.
Are these situations an exception, or did she choose that exit? Can you ask? Is that possible for us to know?
She requires consideration. She deserves counsel.
Mm-hmm.
And so we absorb, we soothe, we share, and we heal. This healing, however, we must be clear, without a material body, we do not use healing in the same frame.
Mm.
We commune with circulation. We move and clear. This clarity is what you call healing.
Mm.
There are extremes to which this incarnation can create outcomes which one is not necessarily prepared to accommodate.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, there can be unanticipated results.
Perhaps you speak of the master in a sense. She, from what I know, had schizophrenia, and I want to know why. Why are sometimes humans born with schizophrenia? Why?
We must share with you this one is having a sister who was also schizophrenic, who died within 2 months. These schizophrenias, these are electrical, what is the word? These are not disturbances from our
Imbalance.
perhaps this is a less judgmental, yes, way to call it. These, we shall say, women, sisters, friends, are in touch with greater realities. The connection is random. The evolution of conscious awareness has not reached a point of stabilization.
Mm-hmm.
So, therefore, the connections appear random, rambunctious, inadequate, over adequate, There is not a perceived continuum in your human form. And therefore, these ones appear to run somehow different in a different, you call it sanity, insanity, these labels
Mm.
which change over centuries. They have enjoyed their induction into matter. They have enjoyed their encounter with pulse, pulsations, these circulatory systems, these exchanges, these forms and apparitions that you have on this planet. Their abilities were not always able to align with your expectations. That is all.
So it sounds like they were channeling, but in a disorganized fashion that they could not control.
Inhabiting. We would not use the word channel,
Ah,
for the energy is more horizontal,
mm,
not as vertical.
ah,
It is more of a general attunement
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that they can access, but none of it is, from your perspective, mm, rational in the sense that effects can be reproduced. Your science framework requests results that can be reproduced reliably.
Mm-hmm.
Yet these formations that have been taken in as loved ones, and we do not disparage love, your loved ones, they were not, how should we say, they were here to manage vastly more energy than most have access to.
mm. So could a schizophrenic work through this material and become okay, or is it sort of their fate to live in this horizontal consciousness fashion?
It is a place that many inherit, many inherit, many inhabit.
Mm,
The best way to look at this is from the point of view of a spectrum
mm,
without delineating diagnoses, that there are many, such as your gifted humans, who are not labeled schizophrenic. They are Einstein, Beethoven, Brahms. They have access onto alternative energy that others do not necessarily have. But from a human embodied perspective, the function of being human, the borders are porous, more porous. And for some of us, the porosity, we drown.
mm.
We drown.
It's just overwhelming.
Yes. Yes.
Can some schizophrenics metabolize this information and function?
This is a product of your definition.
Ah,
For perhaps from our point of view, schizophrenia is simply a shift. There's a shifting that happens. It's perceived as a shifting. These are energies. They are flickering, fluttering view, in view. Much as you think of perhaps, say, an apparition, half in, half out, here, not there, here, not there. And the flickering is so rapid that the flickerer, the human, is hidden.
hmm, hmm.
So it is really a matter of, again, working with that energy from the point of view of the human who houses that energy, and from the point of view of the human who witnesses that energy in the form of that human.
Mhm. So perhaps in another society, perhaps a tribal society, that person would simply have become the shaman.
Exactly.
Yes.
They are the seers.
Uh-huh.
And when they are treated well, and when society responds to these energies with love,
Mm.
compassion, support, there is no reason for disruption. There is no thought of disruption. This is something that your society must work through. You as a collective must
Uh-huh.
work through.
Mm, mm.
Mm.
So it's a little bit like being gay. It's not a problem. It's a society that has to work with different.
Exactly. 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 There,
Right.
there are labels, there are judgments,
Yes.
there are plethora of reactions. These are not actions. These are not actions.
They're react.
You act. The people around you are reacting to the energy which you encounter as a human. This is your we shall not say right. This is your being.
Yes. Mhm. In a parallel question, we have currently a crisis in the sense of some people are changing their genders. There is
Mm,
two arguments. One is that this is
mm.
wrong. The person should stick to the gender they are born to, and the other is that that modernly we are able to change genders, and why not? What can you tell us about this?
Oh, dear hearts. This is this. We spoke earlier of this jumping between circuits.
Yes.
Jumping between circuits. Um, there is an eternal flow and movement within flow. The tendency here is to block energy in certain forms, and that one form is held, and then that must be discarded in order to take on another form.
Hmm.
This disrobing, this changing, this putting a shirt. This is, we'll give you an example. In the morning when you wake up and you have a sense of dread, you may put on a shirt and you look in the mirror and you say, oh no. And you put on a dress and you say, oh no. And you put on pants and you say, oh no. And then you put on a necklace and you say, yes.
Mm.
There is no harm in playing with your apparel.
Mm.
However, the dread, the sense within the human form of this is not good enough. This doesn't match. The colors don't match. The negotiation and the worry about this negotiation, not only for yourself in front of the mirror, but when you walk out that door, who will attack me because I have a skirt on?
Mm.
Who will attack me because I am not wearing a long sleeve shirt? I don't wear pants. I wear this whole amalgam of forms is underpinned in formlessness. And we would caution and support and ask you to become more familiar with the formlessness that underpins your world.
Mm.
Now, there are real concerns here. For example, your term of gay, people, many, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of your humans have been extinguished on account of their mismatch. They did not match their clothes to expectations of those around them for being gay, for being transgender, for being whoever they are, have been, for being women, for being men, for being men loving men, for being there are so many punishments that you as humans invoke on one another.
Mm. Is it okay that a person might change their gender?
Why not?
Yes, indeed. I guess some people would argue that it is a medical process involving a good deal of drugs, etc., and that it is harmful for the body,
Whose body?
the body of the person who's making the change.
And we say that person makes that change themselves.
Yes, they have their own right to determine their lives.
You say right. We say their being.
Yes. Uh-huh. Good.
Allow those around you to be.
It's a society problem, is it not?
The collective.
Yes.
The collective. This
Yeah.
is a tremendous wrestle. You are wrestling with
Mhm.
much. Yes. Yes. And for that reason, many of you have chosen to come here.
To wrestle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is your ring. This
Hmm.
is your opportunity to engage with the
Mm.
flesh.
Mm. Mm.
This is a celebration.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, there are fireworks. There are fireworks.
So when my friend was going back to the regressions where she saw Noah and where she experienced the life of Marilyn Monroe, was she reading the Akashic record, or was that her energy, her life?
She will draw to her what she welcomes, what she, how should we say, what she requires, what
Mhm.
she needs to know, what she wants to know.
Hmm.
She will draw that to her.
And this is her specifically, or just anyone?
Well, again, this is a vast, accessible frame, but from another perspective, the human perspective, she may call it hers.
It's
That
our interpretation of what we're experiencing.
correct. And not only that, but when you stepped into this incarnation, you knew that you would call it yours.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And that is this power which seems to instill your being here with such urgency. You feel that, no?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. That urgency, that is desire, that is the celebration. Now, whether that urgency is riding you like a cow,
Mm.
or whether you have that urgency under your arm as a tool,
Mm.
is for you to decide.
Mm-hmm.
What will you do with it? For that urgency, we call it desire. That desire, the siring of your incarnation. That's why you came here, is to work. And that desire will come up around you in the form of people, expectations, objects, initiations, declarations. It will all manifest like a rose with you at the center.
Mm. Mm.
And you may touch on each petal. We do not advise you to contemplate the entire rose without practice. This is the schizophrenic, as you say.
Ah.
There is too much to handle within the limitations, the not limitations, the limits, the borders of your embodied existence here. This is why you must rest, you must eat, you must sleep, you must have nutrition. This is this whole other facet, one of many, of being a human. There is much to care for, much to care for. And very often your schizophrenics are so emboldened with the vision that the rose itself is left without a scent.
Mm.
There is no beauty.
Mm. Mm.
And therefore, perhaps the life was taken.
Yes.
And there is the consideration, the consultation, the beauty, the reminding, rest, calmly in that.
Mm-hmm.
A rose is a rose is a rose.
Hmm.
This is time now. This one is sinking.
We want to
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Sorry, Dave.
Same thing. Thank you.
You are ever, ever green.